I keep supporting background candidates for president. Kirsten Gillibrand, Jay Inslee, Steve Bullock, Cory Booker. None of them really have had what it takes to get to the top of the list. And that's because instead of supporting candidates who are prospective best girls, I am instead supporting candidates who are prospective one line in the background, then gone forever. So, as an anime fan, I think the only way to pick a candidate at this juncture is to look at who would be a prospective best girl in a harem anime. And the harem anime I'm going to use today for this example is Steins Gate. So today we're going to be comparing the best girl options in Steins Gate with current Democratic presidential candidates, and hopefully we will figure out which one I or you should support. Now, before we start, I think I'm going to have to mention that I will not be talking about Bernie Sanders. This is, of course, because I am paid for by CNN, and therefore I'm blocking him out of all my mentions. So the first girl we are going to talk about today is Christina Okabe, and I believe that she is best represented by Democratic candidate Pete Buttigieg. This is first because no one can pronounce their names. The main character in Steins Gate doesn't even call her Kirisu because he can't fucking get it right, and let's be honest, no one has pronounced Mayor Pete's name right from the get-go. Next, both of them are way more accomplished than anyone in their position should be. She's got a fucking grad thesis. He's a Rhodes Scholar, mayor, veteran. Pete, you're 37. Calm down, you're making the rest of us millennials look bad. Third, they're both tsunderes. Christina, because she just fucking hits Okabe most of the time, and Mayor Pete, because he does care about you, I'm certain of that, but all he does is tell you what you can't have. Moeka is Tulsi Gabbard. This is because both of them are secretly evil. Moeka working for Mr. Braun and CERN, Tulsi Gabbard definitely on Putin's payroll. Moeka doesn't talk that much, primarily chooses to communicate via text, while Tulsi Gabbard's main draws of attention are the fact that she's refusing to debate candidates. Both of them are great with guns. Moeka has an undying devotion to Mr. Braun, almost as if she's in a cult, wherein Tulsi Gabbard is actually in a cult. Finally, both of them really like wearing skin-tight costumes. Moeka for fighting people, Tulsi Gabbard for surfing in New Hampshire for some fucking reason. Next, we have Ferris Nyan, and who I initially intended to compare her to, Tom Steyer. However, I realized that outside of them both using their vast income to try to influence the world, they're not that similar. So Ferris instead is Andrew Yang. This is, of course, because both of them lead meme armies. Ferris's is a bunch of weebs who go to her maid cafe. Andrew Yang's is a bunch of weebs on Twitter who tweet at people who don't like Andrew Yang. Now, this is where it gets kind of weird. Ferris is kind of out of genre. She's there, she's tangentially in Okabe's harem, but not really. This is very true with Andrew Yang within the Democratic primary, in part because he's focusing on universal basic income as an almost exclusive issue and not talking about anything else, and also in part because he's not particularly competitive in the primary. Please add me. I want attention. Next, we have Suzuha Amane. Suzuha is best compared to Elizabeth Warren. This is because neither of them take any shit. Suzuha will fuck you the fuck up, while Elizabeth Warren tweeted "Go Cougars" in response to a press conference about how she is a crazed sex maniac. Additionally, during one of the debates, Elizabeth Warren looked over at John Mulaney and literally drooled at the concept of confiscating his wealth to pay for the nation's healthcare system. Which, to be fair, John Delaney spent $20 million running for president, and you still have no fucking clue who he is. So, money well spent. Next, both of them come from desolate wastelands. Suzuha comes from, the future, and Elizabeth Warren comes from Oklahoma. Since Suzuha is a time traveler, she is using her knowledge of the future to try to help make the present better. Elizabeth Warren is doing kind of the same thing, except with social welfare policies from Europe. Fuck. But both of them aren't really going to succeed. Suzuha because she doesn't really succeed, and Warren because she's probably not going to win. Next, we have Mayuri, and I believe that Mayuri is best compared to Beto O'Rourke. Now, I know what you're saying, Max, Beto O'Rourke dropped out of the campaign months ago. He's not even a candidate anymore. And to that I say, Mary dies halfway through the season, so it's like the same thing. In fact, she dies a lot, and Beto's lost a lot of races recently, so they're even more similar. They're both full of boundless energy and optimism. For Mayuri, she generally uses that to collect weird gachapon things. And for Beto, he uses it to jump on tables and tell people how he feels about stuff. Next, and this is the final comparison because we're not doing Steins Gate 0 because that's fucking shit. We're going to talk about Luca and how Luca is Joe Biden. Now, Luca's totally into you, even if you're not really into them. And in comparison, Joe Biden's totally into you, even if you're not into him. He wants to help. He might smell your hair. It doesn't really matter, but he cares. And that's the thing. And Luca cares too. Luca could kick your ass in a sword fighting contest, while Joe Biden could kick your ass in a push-up contest and is not afraid to challenge literally anybody to it. He's like one of those melee pros, except instead of, Fox only, no items, final destination, it's push-up contest right here, right now. So, there we have it. 6 Democratic candidates, 6 prospective girls from Steins Gate. I can finally pick someone. Except for one thing. I don't engage in best girl contests, which means I can't engage with any of these 6 candidates. Which means my only hope, my saving grace, the one candidate I can support is Amy Klobuchar. So Amy, take your comb and beat the shit out of everyone in Iowa, or drop out in 2 weeks and force me to make another one of these videos then.